Just One Seed by Ozjthomas. My grandmother handed me a seed and told me to treat it carefully. When the seed is planted in the ground, she said great abundance will come out. I told my grandmother just one seed will only become just one tree. No great abundance can abound from just one seed planted in the ground. My grandmother smiled and said, just one tree is not a trivial thing to me. Just one seed planted in the ground can change the place it surrounds. Just one tree makes room for rats, shade for flowers, and food for bats. Just one tree can soak up rain, stop erosion, and slow climate change. If it's an outer like this tree, dye and medicine are its seed. Its twigs will be food for deer and bugs. Its leaves will be eaten by birds and slugs. So maybe it will be just one tree, but that's quite an amazing thing to me. So I asked my grandmother if she could show me how to help my seed to grow. She smiled and said, that little seed already has everything it needs. If you simply plant it with care and attention, water it well, and have good intentions, one day your seed will grow into a tree, and that's quite an amazing thing to be. So I planted the seed and waited and waited, and waited and waited and waited and waited. 2 weeks passed when finally it sprouted. A leaf shot up from where it was grounded. When my grandmother saw the tree with its seeds, she said, look at this, now we can plant more trees. I smiled and said, if one tree can do much, just how much change would a forest bring us? Grandmother smiled and said, a great amount. Now let's start a forest to cover the ground. As we started to plant, it occurred to me, in some ways, I'm just like a seed. I told my grandmother, and she said, this is true, and just like a tree, you're quite special too.